Well guys, welcome back, and we're going to go into Chris's fish and chip shop. Okay, and let's see what he's doing with his business. Okay, let's read there. It says, Chris runs the local fish and chip shop. His fixed expenses total 6,450 Rand a month. He also has variable expenses every month, which depends on how many packets of chips he sells. His income is solely from the sale of food. Okay, he sells a packet of fish and chips for 15 Rand. We're going to use a table below to draw a graph illustrating his income, and we're going to actually provide you with the graph of the expenses, but we're going to focus now on the income. Now, what we've got is we've got a situation here, and I'm going to go to a piece of paper here. Now, have a look at this sheet of paper. What have we got? We've got the number of packets sold. If he sells 50, he's going to sell them for 15 Rand each. So obviously what's happening, his income is 750 because you're multiplying that. So that's great. Then for 100 packets times 15 gives you 1,500. For 500 times 15 is 7,500, and so we go on. Now we want to represent this on a graph. Very easy. I've drawn a little bit of a graph here to illustrate how we do it, and then we'll put it all together onto two graphs, onto a big graph picture. Now have a look here. If you look at this, the first one, if you look at that, for 50 packets, we're making 750. Now have a look here. There's packets at the bottom, and obviously the income on top there. Now if we go from 0 to 100, 50 is about there. So we go from 50 all the way up to about 750 over there, which is great. So you can clearly see that this is going to be about 750. Okay, then you go, the next one, let's check it out, is 100 packets for 1,500. So it's 100 packets up to 1,500 Rand there. Okay, now we're going to keep drawing it. Look, if you take 500, you got 500, 7,500. So if you go to 500, let's bring a ruler into play. We can go all the way from that up to 7,500, you see. And if we do that fairly accurately, we will have another point there, which is in line with the 500. And obviously, and a lot of this is estimating. Okay, so that's 7,500. Now, of course, we can join those points and get a line. Okay, now, let's go back to the slide and see what's happening. Okay, there was the table, and we then did a whole lot of stuff. And we now plotted, if you look at the expenses line, it started there, and it went all the way up from here, going there, and the income went from there to there. Okay, notice it starts off, you're going to have initial costs here. With the expenses, then it goes like this, and then you hit break even, and initially you didn't have any income, and then it starts going up as well. Okay, so let's look at some divine questions on this. I'm loving it. Use the graph to answer the following questions. Why does the expenses graph not start at 0? Well, obviously, why? Why would it not start at 0? Because there's a starting expense when you start a business. Now check this. What happens there? There's a fixed expense of 6,450. That's a given. Okay, so if we look at the graph, remember the blue line is the income line. Okay, and what's it doing? It starts with no money and grows up. But your expenses in the beginning are very big. And look at that. If we follow it up there, what do you know? 6,450. That is the initial expenses, the fixed costs of the business, okay, in the beginning there. Okay. Let's check it out. What's the next question? What do we call the point at which the two graphs intersect? Well, that's called the break-even point. Okay, and where's the break-even point? There we go. Okay. Approximately how many packets of fish and chips must Chris sell in order to break even? Well, very easy. Approximately 800. Now, how did I get that? Well, let's read it off from the graph. Here we go. Let's look at the graph. There's the graph. Well, at break-even point is there, and we go all the way down, and we see that it comes to 800 Rand about. So in other words, if he sells, the amount of fish and chips sold is 800. There we go. Okay. And what do we know? Let's see. Estimate what Chris's loss would be if he only sold 600 packets of fish and chips. Okay, his loss. He's going to lose now. Now check here. All right, now the first thing we've got to do is we're going to use the graphs. We're going to go to 600 and read off his income and his expenses. Now, remember, break even is 800. So what are we going to do? Let's check it out. Well, if you look at the income, what is that going to be? Well, if we go from 600, we're going to go 600, and we go across, and guess what? He made 9,000 rands worth of profit, of income there, okay. Now, what about his expenses? Well, now the expenses are a bit different because we go right up to the expense line. And let's read it off there. And that, if you estimate, is about 10,800 rand. Okay, that's his expenses. Now remember, at 600, he's not going to make money, a profit. There's going to be a loss. Okay, it's only at break even, it's 800 where it happens. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen now. Well, we see from the graph that his income from 600 is 9,000. His expenses, 600, would be approximately 10,800. So what is his loss? 9,000 minus 10,800. Do that in a calculator, and you can clearly see that he's got a total loss. Okay, so guys, it's been great being with you, doing maths literacy. I love it. All the best for your exams and whatever you do in this subject. And remember, get rich with maths literacy. Mzansi for sure. Take care, guys. See you around.